So, 5 days ago, the NHL or the EA NHL 23 team or EA NHL development team announced for NHL 23 there's going to be cross-platform matchmaking between Xbox One and Xbox or PlayStation 4 and Xbox Series XS and PlayStation 5. Now, I will play the trailer here so you can see it right now.
There's a new feature that we wanted to speak more in depth about and that we're really excited to bring in game. In NHL 23, we'll be introducing cross-platform matchmaking to World of Chell and Hockey Ultimate Team. This will allow PlayStation and Xbox players to square off against one another across their respective console generations for the first time in franchise history. For example, your eShul PlayStation 5 team will now be able to search and play against Xbox Series X teams. The same goes for Xbox One and PlayStation 4 players. Cross-platform matchmaking will bring the immediate benefit of shorter matchmaking times across all online World of Chell and HUT modes, with the matchmaking pools essentially doubled across both generations. It's taken a bit more time to finish this feature than initially anticipated, but we plan to introduce cross-platform matchmaking in November, so we appreciate your patience as we work to connect our player bases and do it right. As we look ahead, we will endeavor to introduce mixed clubs and co-op play across platforms in future titles within the franchise. We've also provided an article along with this video that answers some of the most common questions surrounding cross-platform matchmaking, which you can find on our website. Thank you for your support, and we will make sure to continue to keep you up to date on all things NHL 23.
And now here's my kind of look. Here's what I think about it. This is great. Now, they did say it's not going to come out till November. Okay, a month delay. I get it if there's something that came up that wasn't thought of would be a problem, something that came up late or something. That's fine. Take all the time you need as long as you can bring it. You can bring the best thing you can to the table, and that it's not garbage, because their matchmaking already sucks. You shouldn't make it worse, because I'll be the first one to tell you, their matchmaking sucks. I hate when I'll be rolling with my club and then match up with Diamond 1s and go, why are we playing Diamond 1s when these guys are going to crush us? Now, sometimes it's a good game. It's a tough fight to the end, and other games we get blown out. It depends on the day and kind of how we're playing that day and who we're against. But stuff like that, we would see Diamond 1s a couple times a night, and we'd play for a couple hours. We'd see Diamond 1, there'd be nights where we see Diamond 1s like 3 in a row or like 3 within 5, and then there'd be other days where we see them once, or none at all, and it's like, oh, that's great. Or we'd see a bunch of high prestige guys near the end of when we were playing a lot. We'd see a bunch of high prestige guys, and we never saw low. That's the one thing it did correctly was we didn't really always get guys that were undermatched to us. We only got overmatched. But if you're gonna do it where you always are gonna overmatch teams, why not undermatch them a little too to kind of be like, all right, you take some beatings here, but we make up for it with some slightly easier teams here. That would make sense. But if you're going to weight it more towards what it feels, at least it feels weighted more towards we play always the harder teams but can never play the easier teams, makes no sense. And I mean, we did get better as the year went on in NHL. We did slowly climb divisions, but that just was a testament to integrating a new player and kind of finding that chemistry. And I think growing as a team to have 3 guys instead of 2. But it's good to have cross-platform. I mean, it does open up that player pool. And even though there is the problems with matchmaking there, it still gives you a lot more options. And it opens up wait times because even with between sometimes horrible matchmaking and other times where you would play or it would take super long to get into a game, like there would be sometimes me and a friend of mine would jump in just to random threes games or random drop-ins and or even club dropping in as a club, me and one of the guys on the club. And it would be like it'd take as the season progressed, it took longer and longer to find games. And it's a good thing that you're expanding your player pool to pick from. It gives the game more of a life cycle. It makes matchmaking easier. Now you've just got to fix the problem of sometimes the matchmaking seems unfair to the players who they're getting matched up against. And sometimes you have the problem that's been all year of you lag out as soon as you get into a ones game sometimes. I had that a few times. Or sometimes you may lag out after you get into a threes game, like you don't even get past the opening, you don't get to the opening face-off. It would freeze before it gets to that. Or we even had that the problem of freezing once or twice in club games. I had a few times in dropping games too, where it'd freeze before I get to the opening face-off. And that's another thing they got to fix with it, but this is a step in the right direction. It expands the life cycle of the game, and I think everyone should be happy with this because not only does it open up bigger player pools, you can play with guys that you couldn't play with before, and that's a good thing because there's a couple people I know that probably would have been interested in our club that were on PlayStation that wouldn't have been able to if we brought some guys in. Now it opens it up as long as they in the future make a push towards, all right, now you can bring these other players on other consoles in your platform, like your certain level, like your Generation 8 consoles compared to your Generation 7. I think that's what because Generation 8's SX and PlayStation 5, I'm pretty sure, and 7's 1 in PS4. I don't know, but between those generations. They said, yeah, we're going to have more of that, and there's going to be more. We're going to open it up, and that's good. And I think you should. All games nowadays, with what they can do, should open it up towards cross-platform, because that just makes it a lot easier. That opens up your player pool, and it'll get people playing more. Because I remember so many times on old games where it'd be like 10 years ago, you wouldn't have even thought cross-platform was really a thing. It'd always be, what do you want? Oh, I'm on PlayStation. Oh, I'm on Xbox. I can't play with you. That sucks. Okay, move on. We'll talk about video games still, but we wouldn't play together. There'd be some years where it's like I didn't play much because the guys that I knew on Xbox didn't really play, and the guys that I knew on PlayStation played a lot, or vice versa. So, and nowadays seeing that, cross-platforms become a big thing, it's like what I couldn't do 10 years ago with playing with buddies all the time, which is part of the reason why I kind of dropped out of gaming a little bit after a few years ago. It's now kind of going to bring me a little more in because I get to interact with more people on those games, and it opens up possibilities. And it just depends on how far they're willing to take it and how dedicated they're going to be to giving the best experience possible. And I think they can be very dedicated. It's just about getting things right and getting a little lucky at the same time. But anyways, that's just my thoughts on the whole thing. I will have a video coming out later or tonight or tomorrow morning on the first gameplay trailer. Now, for those who are looking for the roadmap, it is going to be gameplay just came out yesterday. Presentation and game modes come out in September, and then in October you have Hot, and that's going to be before the 10th because the 10th, or not the 10th, the 11th. The 11th is going to be the early access opening, and then the launch is on the 14th of October. So, by the 11th of October, you'll have presentation, game modes, and HUT by then. So, at some point in September, I'll probably have some on the presentation and the game modes, and then October on HUT. And then we'll talk. If I can get early access or get in as close as I can to launch, I'll talk about the game. But anyways, you know who I am. I'll see you later. Actually, probably later today or tomorrow with more content.